Good morning, boys and girls. It is Wednesday morning. We are doing a lesson again on teen numbers, numbers in the teens. Yesterday, we talked about that teen numbers are made up of 2 digits. We also discussed that the digits 0 to 9 are only ones. Now, the numbers 0 to 9 only have 1 digit. The numbers 10 or greater, 10 to 99, have 2 digits. The numbers 10 to 99 have a tens place and a ones place. Today we're going to work through some problems and we're going to discuss how to represent teen numbers, numbers in the teens. Yesterday we discussed tens and ones. If you remember, we discussed that you represent a 10 with a 10 rod. You represent a 1 with a unit. So we'll hold those up again so you can see those. A 10 rod represents the number 10. A unit represents the number 1. The value is 10. The value is 1. Okay, so let's get started today. This is the number 14. How do I know it's the number 14? Well, the first thing I need to do is I need to count 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. I have 1 10 and 4 ones. I can also represent that with an equation, an addition sentence. 10 plus 4 equals what? 14. The total amount is 14. Okay, let's break that up. How many tens are in the number 14? 1. The number 14 has 1 10. How many ones are in the number 14? Well, I'll look right here at my ones. And the number 4 goes in the ones place. The 2 digits that make up the number 14 are 1 and 4. What if I wanted to use that in a number bond? What would I do? How would I show 14 in a number bond? I would use my whole and my part to show that. My part and my part would be the tens place and the ones place. But remember, we're not going to write the number 1. We're going to write the number 10 because this represents a 10. The value is 10. It's kind of like if you have a quarter. You have 1 quarter, but the value of that quarter is 25 cents. So you have 1 10, but the value of it is 10. So in your number bond, you're going to put the number 10 and the number 4 in the parts. In the whole, you would put the number 14. Okay? So how have we represented the number 10? You can use tens and ones. How have we represented the number 14? You can use tens and ones. You can use an equation. You can use a number bond to show the digits 1 and 4 represent the number 14. It's a 2-digit number. Let's move down here. Some of you have probably already noticed this at the bottom of the paper. It is a 10 frame. Well, actually, there are 2 10 frames because, let's look at our number. What do you think our number would be if there were 2 10 frames? I'm going to give you a second to see. Okay, the first 10 frame is full. So we would say 10 because we know when a 10 frame is full, the value of that 10 frame is 10. The value of a 10 frame and a 10 rod are the same. They have the same value. It holds 10. This 10 frame is not full. What is the value of this 10 frame? Well, here we have 10 and here we have 6. That's also a way to represent the number 16. Okay, so how many 10s do we have? Now we can't write 2. If you said 2, there's not 2 10s. This 10 frame is not full. We cannot count it as a 10. You can only count the 10 frame that is full. So how many 10s? Just one. This 10 frame does not have a great enough amount to represent a 10. So this 10 frame only represents ones. So this is a 10, this is a 6. So this would be the number 16. It is a teen number. It has a 1 in the tens place and a 6 in the ones place. So remember, the value of the tens place is 10. The value of the ones place are just ones. Remember earlier I said the digits 0 through 9 would be in the ones place because they don't have enough to make it to the 10. There's not enough there. 1 10 and 6 ones make up the number 16. I could draw that with my 10 rod and 6 units. So let's count that. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Let's put that in a number bond. 16 is my whole. And then the numbers 10 and 6 go in the parts. Okay? And if I wanted to write an equation, I would say 10 plus 6 equals 16. Now, let's flip the page and let's move on to a different problem. Okay. At the top, I have wrote there are 2 10s and 5 ones. So I'm going to give you just a second to think about what number that would be. If there was a number that had 2 10s and 5 ones, the number would be 25. The number 25 has a 2 in the tens place and a 5 in the ones place. Well, that's not a number in the teens. No, that number has 2 10s. But you would also use the 10 rods and the ones to represent it. It's a much easier way. You would not want to draw 25 circles. That would take way too long. Drawing 2 10 frames and then another 10 frame with 5. So the fastest way, the best representation of the number 25 would be to use your 10s and ones. So the value of the 2 is 20. So you would draw 1, 2. The value of the 5 is 5 ones. So you would draw 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So let's count that together. 10, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. Let's write an equation. 20 plus 5 equals 25. Let's do a number bond. The 20 and the 5 are my parts. Remember, when you're adding, you add the parts together to equal the whole. So my part, this is a number bond. A number bond we call part, part, whole. So the numbers 20 and 5 would go in the parts, and the number 25 would go in the whole. So my parts are 20 and 5. My whole is 25. My digits are a 2 and a 5, but the 2 represents a 20. And so that's why when you say the number, when you read the number, you don't read this number and say 25. You wouldn't say that. You say 25 because that's the value of that number. Okay, we have one more to do for our math lesson this morning. I drew several dots on the bottom of the paper. I drew several dots. The easiest way to count them is to group them by tens, is to put them in groups of 10. That's what a 10 is. It's a group of 10, much like the 10 frame is a group of 10. So let's see if we can find groups of 10 this morning. So here we go. Here's a group of 10. Here's a group of 10. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Here's a group of 10. So I circled 3 groups of 10. Now, would I circle the ones right here? The answer is no. There are only 4. There are not enough to make a 10. So we don't circle that. We only circle the 10s. There are 3 10s. And I hope you can see my marker where I circled those. I'm not sure. You could see. Okay, 1 group, 2 groups. All right, we have 3 groups of 10. That represents 30. 10, 20, 30. You count by 10s. And this is something you could do at home. If you have buttons or pennies or beans, you could group them. And your mom could put 45 beans on the table, and you could group 4 10s and 5 1s. That would be an activity you could do at home. Okay, so if I have 34, how would I represent the number 34? Well, I would represent that with 3 10s and 4 1s. So let's represent that with 10 rods. 10, 20, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34. I hope you can see that. Okay, what about my number bond? The number 34 would be the whole, and the parts would be 30 and 4, just like we had right here. 10, 20, 30. I can put 3 10s into the number 30, but I can't put the 4 into a 10 because I don't have enough to make another 10. So that 4 goes in the ones place. When you're doing a number bond with a 2-digit number, this is the tens place and this is the ones place. And the last thing we would do is we would say 30, because there's 30 in this group, plus 4 equals 34. Thank you for tuning in today. Stay safe, stay well. I miss you. Goodbye.